Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Metal Coffee Shop Soundstage live at MetalCon 2025. My name is Karen Edwards, and I've got some very special guests joining me on the soundstage today. Nancy Riley from MetalCon
Mhm.
and Adam Bouts from Semper and America's
America's Fun.
Fund. Yeah, and wow, there have been some incredible things happening at this show to benefit Semper and America's Fund. But before we dive into that, I like Nancy, just introduce yourself to everybody out there. Tell us what you do here at MetalCon.
Sure, thank you. So I've been with MetalCon for over 10 years, and my main job has been to run the deck, which is our show management booth at the show. And since the start of MetalCon, it's been very, very important for there to be an annual give back. And it's always benefited whatever community that the show is in. And there's been a long history to give back to the veterans and the military community. But about 4 years ago, I believe, we really solidified the partnership and the relationship with Semper Fi and America's Fund. And we really try and have fun with it at the deck. And we raffle off great prizes in exchange for donations. And it's just been really, really fulfilling. During the year, I also am the writer for the Metal Connection newsletter and our MetalCon blog. So
Right.
that's what I do year round behind
Yeah.
the scenes,
All metal, all
pushing
the
all
time.
metal. Trust me, you all are a great source of
Oh, thank
content.
you. Thank you.
So enjoyed this partnership. And then when I'm on site, I'm the face of the deck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you sure are. Everybody knows Nancy.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. So, Adam, tell us a little bit about you and Semper and America's Fund.
Yeah, well, it's an honor to be here and to represent Semper Fi and America's Fun. They first helped me out years ago as helping me join their apprenticeship program, which in turn allowed me to kind of get my business more off the ground in a more stable way. And one of the ways they paid for my insurance to get paid for the whole year, and that saved me not only the expenses, but it alleviated a lot of pressure and stress that I would have had. And they've also helped me and other veterans to do adventures around the country. So we have rode through the White Rapids of the Snake River. We did that a couple years ago, and I said we, as a group of veterans like myself that were sponsored by Semper Fi and America's Fund, I was grateful to be able to come here at this event 2 years ago and to accept a check back then as well. So, it's not only an honor to get the help, but to be able to kind of help back and pay back a little bit as well. The business that Semper Fi and America's Fund helped me kind of get off the ground. It's called Outdoor Travel Tours, and I specialize in showing people the better side of Las Vegas. I've been an adventure tour guide since about 2011 out of Vegas, and started with ATV tours, kayak tours, paddleboarding, gold mine tours, rappelling. Used to bring people to shoot machine guns and all that stuff, but in doing so, I've kind of been able to hone into what I love most, and that's being outside and hiking, but also helping others feel comfortable in that environment. I think it's very important for us to kind of get that balance back with incorporating nature into our lives, especially, we live in a world full of distractions, and these distractions can take us further from the natural world. So to be able to take people out of this busy place, Las
Yeah.
Vegas, daily to go see the better side. And specifically, I guide hiking adventures in Valley of Fire, which is Nevada's first and largest state park.
Yeah, wow. I was going to say you are certainly an adventure guy. It sounds like from all these things that you're interested in and doing. And yeah, that tour happened on Monday for folks coming to MetalCon. They had the option to go out and do it. And I heard Nancy that you participated. Why don't you tell us what it was like?
uh, fabulous. I mean, really, to see that part of this city and to get out from the strip and to realize that there's just so much more to Las Vegas. And he's a rock star. I'm telling you, I mean, I've lived in a lot of places where visitors come to. I myself actually was a tour guide when I lived in the Caribbean. And if you're coming to Vegas, you've got to do
Yeah,
Adam's tour. Yeah.
yeah,
And he
yeah.
took us off the beaten path. His knowledge, just the opportunity to experience it with Adam it was awesome.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Nancy.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now
Mhm.
I heard that you might have found some fossils.
Yeah, so secrets out, you can find some pretty amazing things in nature. And, kind of go back just a little bit. This year was different to where 2 years ago when I attended this event, we didn't do this. I didn't
No.
guide an adventure for a group that was attending this conference. So it was another way to kind of give back because a lot of the proceeds went towards another part of the donation that I received today. So, it was awesome to be able to do that. I started guiding hiking adventures in 2014 in Valley of Fire. So, November will mark 11 years, and my niche is going off trail, and I explore and I connect with the land and I help other people do so. And sometimes when I'm exploring, I find things of great historical significance, whether that be fossils or artifacts. These artifacts were left by indigenous people of this land. And I'm constantly being inspired not only by the beauty of nature, but from what these people left behind. Okay.
Yeah.
They were able to live off this land for potentially tens of thousands of years. All they left behind were stone tools, pictures on the rocks, petroglyphs, and pieces of pottery. We're leaving a lot more behind now. So,
Yeah, we are.
by being able to be out in nature almost every day and pay attention to it, it's allowed me to gather more appreciation and more respect for it. And in turn, I have more appreciation and respect for indigenous peoples because of their relationship that they have with the natural world.
Yeah.
So
So,
can I share that part of the tour?
yeah.
So here we are walking along, and all of us are looking around saying, "Thank God we're not navigating."
Right?
Because
That
I
was
think
when
we
you
would
said
just
off
go in
trail.
circles and never make it back to the road. So we're walking along, and all of a sudden Adam puts his foot on a rock and he's addressing, the group and talking about what he just said about finding artifacts and, really connecting with how people lived thousands of years ago, hundreds of years. And all of a sudden he's like, for example, puts his hand under the rock and he pulls out these artifacts. So he has a special secret storage area.
Nice.
And those of us on his tour versus any others benefit from this. So it's
Yeah.
it was a special moment.
I'm glad that you felt that way. And, um, you know, I have many different things hiding out there because, the fact of it is the laws pertaining to that area, we cannot take them out of there. And I think it's even more important to kind of acknowledge that these things need to stay out where we find them
Mm.
because the context, the story that is tied to this object, it remains as much as it can be there. And if people take things like that, like projectile points or pieces of pottery from this area, we lose a lot of the history, right? And a lot of
Right.
this history we don't even know about, and we're still learning about it daily. The archaeological discoveries that are being made every year seem to be changing the timeline that we thought the peopling of the Americas happened. And I think there's a lot of potential that the archaeological discoveries that we make in Valley of Fire can be much older than what our books are saying to be about 4,000 years currently now. So,
Wow.
this is just another approach to connect with the land. When you can read about history all day long, but to find it on the ground, pick it up, hold it in
It's
your
pretty
hand,
powerful.
it's very powerful, and I don't take it for granted. And allowing me to be out in nature has allowed me to heal tremendously. I went to Iraq twice as an infantry machine gunner, and not all my brothers came back from there. And there was years where I felt very distant from my social life, from family, even my Marine brothers. I was ashamed who I'd become mentally and physically. I didn't want to see my Marine brothers for a long time. And what helped me kind of get better, healthier, was being outside and addressing these types of issues and acknowledging my traumas. And I finally stopped running from them. For a few years after I got out of the Marines in 2008, it seemed like every night I would go to sleep drinking bourbon. I felt like that was the only way to go to sleep. I was running from my traumas, running
Right.
from my demons. And it wasn't until I spent a long time in nature. I spent 5 months hiking on the Appalachian Trail, and it just you can't run from your traumas when you're out there. And yeah, I learned how to think about them. And in 2013, I started hiking the AT, and I was sponsored by a nonprofit, another different nonprofit, to do this. And they're known as the Walk Off the War program because the first person to through hike the Appalachian Trail in all of its entirety, all 2,189.1 miles of it, was Earl Schaefer. And he came back from World War II in 1948, told everybody's going to go walk off the war. And that's what he did.
Wow.
Nature's healing, and you don't have to be a combat veteran to have traumas, and you can still get that healing from nature, you know.
Yeah. Wow. How did you feel being out there and experiencing that?
Yeah, and I've enjoyed connection with nature for a long time, so it was easy to feel the power being out there and the vastness, the sand that's there as a result of the rocks, right?
Now we're going to test
Let's
you.
see how much I learned. I honestly didn't expect that was a surprise for me. I know for some others on the hike that how much sand we were walking through. I was expecting it to be rocky
Right.
most of the time. So that was interesting, and it's as a result of the sand coming off the rocks.
You did listen. Nice job. I sometimes joke that I'm going to give a test at the end of the tour, and if you don't pass, you got to take an Uber back. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of geological significance, a lot of historical significance in the park, and you know, it's my job as a tour guide to share that knowledge, and in doing so, allow people to connect in their own ways as well, and just as importantly, make them feel safe and comfortable in an environment where maybe they wouldn't feel that way without the proper tour guide. And you know, my oldest client's been 88, my youngest is 1, and I pride myself on being able to bring anybody and everybody out there for an adventure. I sometimes have clients in wheelchairs. Everybody deserves to connect with nature, and my connection takes place in Valley of Fire, but that's not the only place that you can get this connection.
Right. Yeah. Wow. That's fantastic. I'm curious about your role with Semper Fi and the Americas Fund. Are you kind of like an ambassador? Are you working with them?
Yeah, I'm just kind of like an ambassador. They've only like helped me out tremendously from the apprenticeship program, sponsoring me to do adventures. I learned how to sail. I got keelboat certified because Semper
Oh,
Fi and America's Fun sent me up to Seattle with a big group of veterans, and we all learned together. Um, they sponsored me to run the Marine Corps Marathon a couple years ago. Yeah,
wow.
finished it, you know,
Woo,
and
way to go.
barely, but I did. And you know, it was just I feel it's necessary for me to do this. There's no incentives other than the
Right.
help and like
The help.
spreading the word. And you know, this is my give back. They've helped me out, and I think it's incredibly important that anybody and everybody finds out about this, but especially veterans. You know, there's tons of help out there for people like me, but the help isn't going to come find you. And sometimes we have to help spread the word. And a lot of times, I think ego can get in the way from veterans asking for help. You know, and again, you know, I lose more Marines now to suicide than I ever did in war. And I think there's a direct correlation with not having the help, not asking for the help, but other stresses like being in debt, not finding your purpose,
Right.
not finding that balance. You know, I sit before you guys today as a very lucky Marine, you know, and I know this and I don't take it for granted. So that's why I just do this to kind of help give back. So I guess you can call me an ambassador for
Yeah.
Semper Fi and
Yeah. You
America's
sure
Fund.
are. And I mean, what a fabulous organization. So I want to talk about money. How much were we able to raise?
It's a good year.
It was a very good year.
Yeah, we were able to present the check for $5,000 this year.
Wow. $5,000.
Mhm.
And that's all going to helping Marines
Yes.
that need it.
More than just Marines. So initially, when this fund was started, they were known as Semper Fi Fund. Semper Fi is short for Semper Fidelis. It's Latin. It means always faithful. This is a slogan that the Marine Corps has adopted many, many years ago.
Right.
So there was confusion. There was thought that they were only Marines. It's now anybody and everybody. If you're a veteran, they can potentially help you. And also through the ways that I talked about, but also additionally, they send me every birthday a gas card in the mail,
Oh,
right?
nice.
25, 50 bucks. Everybody that's associated with this fund gets that on their birthday. Every Christmas for the past like 10 years or more, I've received a Christmas ornament. You know, so it's not just the help and all these adventures. It's the connection,
Yeah.
and it's just the reminders. And I might go a while without attending an event that Semperfi and America's Fund is putting on, but I'm still feeling part of their group because of these little things that they send me. And I have a case manager. Her name's Carrie. Hi, Carrie. And you know, like she'll check in on me. She'll send me
Yeah.
a text. She'll make a
Great.
phone call. And sometimes a simple text or a phone call and somebody there showing that they care about you can save a life. You know,
Yes.
so I
So
really appreciate that.
how does someone who's a veteran who might be listening to this,
Yeah.
how do they get connected with the Semper Fi and the America's Fund?
Yeah, so I hope that you guys can like include some type of link maybe when this
Absolutely,
goes
we can
out.
add it to the
I don't
description.
know like exactly. I feel like it's the fund.org, but it could be different. So they just
We'll
find their
verify that.
website. Yeah, sorry. Their website, you know, just Google this right here
Yeah.
and you'll be able to find it and you'll
It's
be
also
able
on the MetalCon website too.
go to MetalCon. So, you know, again, conferences or conventions or trade shows like this, it helps put the word out, you know.
Yeah.
So this is what we're doing. And you can cold call this nonprofit. People will answer the phone. And if they're not able to help you, they might be able to guide you in the right direction, you know.
Yeah.
And feel free to email me if you're a veteran or if you know veterans that could possibly need some help and need some guidance. You can contact me at adam@outdoortraveltours.com. I mean, I'm always ready and willing to help fellow veterans get on the right
Yeah.
path.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that at the end because I was going to say, how does someone get in touch with your business if they want to experience
Oh, wow.
this?
Well, it's outdoortraveltours.com is my website. And, you know, my awesome wife made that for us. And,
Who's sitting right over there?
yeah, you know,
Hi,
you can
Nicole.
check me out there. I'm on TripAdvisor, Airbnb experiences. So, you know, and I'm just a guy that loves what he does every day, you know.
And I was going to add to your question about, where do the funds go? I know each year, typically after the show, Semperfi will let us know what programs
Oh,
the money has directly benefited. So we'll learn that.
so we can look for you to write about that
Yes,
in the newsletter or the
exactly.
blog.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Pressure's on.
Actually, in the newsletter, I always do a
yeah.
recap and typically find out which programs in their organization the money has directly impacted.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fantastic because there's nothing better than knowing that you made a difference and how you made a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you guys, this was a great conversation. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Appreciate
And
you helping spread the word.
yeah, and everybody out there, I encourage you go to MetalCon's website, sign up for the e-newsletter so that you can get that information. And we're looking forward to the show's wrapping up today, next year's event and
Orlando for the first time.
October 7th through 9th,
Yes.
2026
Yes.
in Orlando. And I'm sure there'll be a lot more fundraising and a lot more give backs coming along with that show.
Yes.
All right.
Thanks so
Yeah,
much.
thank you. And thank you, everybody out there, for watching. Stay tuned because we're not done yet. We are going to be bringing videos and conversations to you until the show ends at 1 p.m. Pacific time today. So we'll